lettuce. Most of us view it as a rather dull salad ingredient. Some would even call it rabbit food. But this leafy vegan staple has quite a sexy history. Welcome everyone, I'm your host Gabi Winkler and this is Eatymology. And today we are going to talk about the totally underlooked and underappreciated lettuce. Lettuce has been consumed for millennia. Common lettuce, Lactuca sativa, has its origins in the Middle East. Egyptian wall murals of Min, the god of fertility, depict lettuce cultivation in about 2700 BC. Both its common and its Latin name are based on an easily noticeable characteristic. When it is cut, it releases a heavy, milky juice. The word lettuce is probably derived from the Old French laitue, meaning milky, referring to its thick juice. The Latin word lac, milk, appears in the Latin name Lactuca. Lettuce is a member of the Asteraceae plant family. Its closest relatives are artichoke, chicory, and sunflower. In ancient Egypt, lettuce wasn't just a boring salad component. It was used as an aphrodisiac. It was considered a phallic symbol, and it was also the favorite food of the Egyptian god of fertility, Min. Yeah, you're right when you start thinking, out of all foods, why lettuce instead of something better like chocolate or strawberries? Nevertheless, the ancient Egyptian god of fertility, Min, had an extreme appetite for lettuce. If you're not familiar with Egyptian gods, Min is the one that is often depicted with a rather oversized man part in wall paintings. Although lettuce has a somewhat phallic shape, the symbolism doesn't really come from there. If someone was to cut a lettuce leaf in half, the aforementioned whitish milky liquid would ooze out of it. Do you want to guess what that reminded people of? Anyways, there is a fascinating story which involves lettuce and the Egyptian gods Seth, god of disorder and violence, and his nephew Horus, god of the sky and hunting. To understand the story better, we need to have a glimpse of the relationship between these guys. First of all, we need to clarify that the concept of incest and homosexuality didn't exist back then. It was common that two male gods could produce children. So Min, Isis, Osiris, and Seth were all siblings. And they all loved each other just like in other ancient god pantheons, meaning had sex with each other. Osiris was the king of gods, but his brother Seth murdered him, chopped him up into pieces and scattered his body across Egypt. Since Osiris didn't have a son, Seth became pharaoh of gods.
Seth shall be your one true king, king of all Egypt. Behold the fate of those who stand in my way.
Isis, in her grief, decided to collect Osiris' pieces, resurrected him, and made love with him. That's how she got pregnant with Horus. A little bit of zombie sex? Who said ancient gods were boring? Seth was strong, short-tempered, and mean. And he was the chief god of crime, illness, storms, droughts, plagues, all evil. Everybody wishes an uncle like that. When Horus came to age, he confronted Seth and demanded his kingdom. Seth thought Horus was young and inexperienced, so he challenged him in a series of contests. This papyrus records their conflict in more detail. And this is where our lettuce will play an important role. Be warned, this tale is not for the faint-hearted. Graphic content is ahead. So they turned into hippos and submerged in the water. The first to come up for air would lose. Isis really wanted to help her son, so she dumped a heavy object in the water to crush Seth. But she missed it, and instead of him, she hit her own son. Horus emerged enraged. He wanted to take revenge on his mother, so he removed her head. Ancient family conflict management, level 100. Luckily, another god reunited Isis' head with her body so she could live. Eventually, the gods got bored of their dispute. They wanted them to make amends. Before meeting the gods, the malicious Seth decided to humiliate his nephew one more time. Come, let's make holiday in my house. Meaning, let's drink and party. When they arrived, a bed was already prepared for them. And they both lay down. Seth wanted to humiliate Horus by riding him from the back, but Horus secretly caught Seth's semen in his hands. Later, Horus went to tell this to his mother. "Help me, Isis, my mother. "Come and see what Seth has done to me." And he opened his hand and let her see Seth's semen. Whoa, what just happened there? So what did the mother respond? Well, she cut off Horus's hands and dumped them into the Nile with the semen. And then she aroused him and collected his semen in a jar. Then Isis went to Seth's garden and asked the gardener what Seth's favorite vegetable was. "He doesn't eat any vegetable here in my company except lettuce." So Isis smeared the semen of Horus on it. And the next morning, Seth had a feast on the freshly dressed lettuce. After that, he became pregnant with the semen of Horus. Quite a twist. Being confident he got Horus pregnant, he called up the godly tribune and demanded his right to become ruler of all gods by declaring he performed the labor of a male against Horus. Therefore, he was more powerful.
King of all Egypt! Behold the fate of those who stand in my way.
So the gods called upon Seth's semen, which answered from the Nile, and then Horus's semen, which answered from Seth's stomach. Long story short, Horus won the contest and he became the leader of the gods. As for the Egyptians, they used lettuce for cooking, medication, even for mummification. Later, the Greeks and the Romans used the leaves as an appetizer. When they ate larger courses, the meal included a salad at the beginning to stimulate the appetite, and also at the end to encourage digestion. Another reason why ancient Greeks served lettuce at the end of the evening meal is to bring forward sleep and cure insomnia. This actually has scientific basis. Lettuce contains a sleep-inducing substance called lactucarium. Greeks also used thickened lettuce juice to top up their opium fix. Ancient Romans also believed in the sedative powers of lettuce. According to legend, the sadistic emperor Domitian forced his guests to eat lettuce at the beginning of the meal so he could watch them struggling to stay awake as they were horrified to death of falling asleep in the presence of the emperor. Although some might claim that this story is just one of those Roman fables that became modern myth because there is no primary source evidence of that infamous dinner party. Although lettuce is low in food value, it is a great source of different vitamins. As a general rule of thumb, the darker your lettuce leaf is, the more nutritions it has. Just be careful with the dressing. What I mean is you should opt for the less fatty, healthier ones, such as lemon juice and olive oil. Lettuce is 95% water, therefore it decays fast as temperature rises. Farmers had to invent a way to keep it cold in order to transport it. They used large quantities of ice to prevent the spoilage of lettuce on the trips to the market. That's where iceberg lettuce got its name. It was actually packed in ice and shipped to far distances. Carriages were filled with icebergs and lettuce, hence the name iceberg lettuce. Lettuce cultivation became so widespread that a lettuce variant was planted, cultivated and harvested entirely in outer space. This variant was chosen because it grows well and fast, and it tastes relatively good. These impatient astronauts couldn't wait till they grow. They ate them while they were baby lettuces. Look at the face of these happy astronauts, eating the most expensive lettuce grown by mankind. As a quick side note, in the United States, potato is the only fresh vegetable that is more popular than lettuce. Potatoes from outer space are still fiction though, but alien lettuce is real. And if you really like lettuce, you can get your exclusive Lettuce-ware to eat your lettuce from a lettuce-shaped plate. For years, owning this exclusive crockery was the privilege of the wealthy. Nowadays, devoted people collect them and they pay record prices. One of the most sought after sets was recently sold for $138,000. That's a lot for lettuce-shaped plates. So next time when you eat your leafy greens and you feel like you are overdosed again with rabbit food, just think of lettuce's quirky story from the ancient Egyptian tombs to outer space, and you might appreciate it a bit more. In the next episode, we are going to explore the story of the irresistibly delicious, smoky, fatty, crunchy bacon. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoy curious food stories and you want to know when the next episode is out, hit subscribe. If you like this episode, check out the previous one, which is about why people thought tomatoes were poisonous.